It's letter time, 13 after midnight, it's letter time. Hey kiddies, it's 13 after midnight, and you know what that means. It's time to answer fan mail. Now, unfortunately, this sack was full of letters, mostly marked to Dear Occupant. However, I do have one envelope, and it seems to be from a true blue Uncle Newton admirer. Let's read it together, shall we? Dear Uncle Newton, my dad and me watch your show all the time. It's our favorite. Will you review the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me? It's my favorite horror movie ever. Love, your biggest fan, Josh. Well, unfortunately, Josh, I don't have much to say about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. However, I'm a really big fan of the sequel, so just for you, and because I'm a completist, we're going to look at Tobe Hooper's original... Hello? Is there someone in here? Jesus, my God! The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released in 1974, is one of the most important horror films in cinema history and the calling card of writer-director Tobe Hooper. Arriving in theaters at almost the exact same time as Black Christmas, it predates Halloween as one of the originators of the slasher genre. A brutal, visceral onslaught from start to finish, it's a hard movie to watch without feeling like you've gone through hell. The film follows a group of 5 young people.
It is all the more tragic in that they were young.
Yeah, thanks, movie. Traveling the backroads of Texas in their own personal mystery machine. Leading the pack are the ever-optimistic Sally and her troublesome brother Franklin. Yes, he's the one in the wheelchair. Along the way, they pick up a sketchy hitchhiker, always a good idea, and find themselves walking up to the front door of one very wrong house. What follows is absolute chaos as these poor meddling kids become fodder for a family of psychopathic cannibals and their chainsaw-wielding runt of a brother. Trust me, by the end, you'll feel like you're drenched in blood too. One place where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre really stands out from its slasher brethren is in the characters. Most of the victims are pretty standard, although Marilyn Burns does turn in a fairly impressive performance as Sally before the film's out. But there's so many fun faces in the crowd, it's almost like an ensemble piece. My favorite member of the cannibal family is the cook, played by Jim Cito. Sometimes mistaken as the father of the other two, he's actually meant to be their older brother. What I love about him is his schizophrenic nature. Cito himself is actually a very likable actor, so from frame 1 he's endearing, but he switches on a dime between twisted and reluctant.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
It's also just funny to watch how he gives his younger brother so much shit.
You damn fool! You ruined the door! Come here, you nap-haired idiot!
Speaking of funny, the most memorable character altogether is the wheelchair-bound Franklin, who, depending on how you look at things, will either be the worst or funniest part of the entire movie.
Come on, Franklin. It's going to be a fun trip.
But the reason everyone remembers this movie can be summed up in one word: Leatherface. Played brilliantly by the late Gunnar Hansen, he's depicted as equal parts man-child and bloodthirsty monster, leading him to earn our sympathy even if the film never tells us to. And the greatest achievement is that through all of this, he's still 100% frightening. Hooper's direction is also spot on. Gritty is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but here it is a marvelous achievement courtesy of equal parts low budget and clever production design. The film feels like a documentary, and regardless of if you're looking at the bone furniture in one scene or the layer of film grain over top of it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre always feels appropriately dirty and raw. Much like Halloween, most of the violence is kept off camera, but in this case, that never stops the film from being downright nasty. Well, Dosh, I hope my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was everything you hoped it would be. Tune in next time, and I'll have the sequel for you, fresh off from the 1980s. Until then, pray for me.
Come on, Franklin. It's going to be a fun trip.